Hello Internet, long time no speak. It's been quite some time since I made a video. Life sort of got in the way. Many years ago I uploaded a video where I had created some pixel panels using some ESP32s. And I was using some basic free software. Well, since that video I have pretty much non-stop playing with pixel lights. And I've used various software that's out there, and none of them quite met my requirements. So I have decided to write my own. And this is a brief overview of that software. It is called PIXmagix. Now I'm not going to go through every single detail here. This is just a brief introductory. So before we can set up a stage, we need to create fixtures. A fixture is a representation of the physical light that you're going to be using. So we go to Fixtures, Create. We have 4 tabs. We have a matrix setup, so you can quickly generate a matrix, and obviously you can swap your wiring around to match. We have a custom image mapper. This is where you can map unusual shapes. This is great for things like Christmas props. So there's a snowflake for example. We have a mega tree, very specific to Christmas lights, and we can generate a mega tree. And then we have strings and paths, which I'll come back to later on because I need to load a show. 54321 because I need to 54321. I need to load a pre-configured stage. Once you've created your fixture, you give it a name, you set its dimensions, and you save it, and it goes into a global fixture library. All of the effects use color palettes. So we have a color palette manager. We can open that up. You can set single colors right the way through to multiple colors. So the first thing that you need to do is to create a stage. So we're going to go new stage. We're going to give it a name. We're going to set its real world dimension. We can select the output protocol, ArtNet or SACN, network adapter, etc. and create. Oh, it already exists. Do you want to continue? Yes, I do. So we now have a stage. We can now go to edit stage. We can click on our imported tab on our fixture library, and we can import a fixture. Let's just import that one. That will now appear in our imported list. We can add it to the stage. Once it's on the stage, we can select it, we can rotate it, we can move it around, we can lock it in position, we can give it a name, and this is also where we set up our IP address and ArtNet or SACN details. Once we've added all of our fixtures, we build a stage. You'll then get an output patch validator. And what this is doing is validating your ArtNet or SACN settings to make sure there's no warnings or conflicts, and then you can continue and you're ready to start putting effects together. So I'm going to demonstrate 2 stages I've already set up. So we're going to go to open stage, and I'm going to do a DJ stage. What you can see here is a photo of a DJ setup, and I've added some pixel sticks. Over here we can see what's actually been imported into the library. We can see everything that's being used, and we can see groups. So you've got your front group, side group, top group. We can now go down to select an effect, and let's just do a basic palette fill, and we can preview it. So this is now just the classic rainbow. We have our palettes here. We can do things like scrolling, we can rotate it, and you can set it up however you so desire. You can target all of the stage, a group of fixtures. So I'm going to go with front, and then I'm going to go across target. So what this is now doing is running the effect on the group of fixtures which I've set up to be the front, and it's targeted across the group of fixtures. So the effect is running over that area. We can go down to per fixture so that they are all doing the same. Once you're happy with your scene, you can add it to a scene builder. The scene builder can have up to 6 layers, and then once you're happy with that, you can save the scene, and then you end up with a scene list. So let me give you an example of that. So we have here sweeps, cyan and green, 4 layers. I'm going to highlight that, edit, it loads it back into the scene builder, and if necessary I can go and change the effect settings, and I can preview the whole scene. So that's all 4 layers independently running, and then I can then save. Once you have created all your scenes, you go into playback. So we're going to go playback, live playback. The playback has been specifically designed with touch screens in mind, so large buttons, large sliders, easy to control. We have a master intensity, we have a crossfade, so that is the speed that when you select one of your scenes, when you select another scene, it will crossfade from one scene to the other set by that time. We also have a autoplay. So if I enable the autoplay, I've set my scene time to 30 seconds. It will play that scene for 30 seconds, and then it will play the next scene, and it will crossfade based on the crossfade time. Now the autoplay will play all the scenes in the selected tab. So in this case we have party. So this is for sort of more party style effects, and as you can see it's just jumped to the next one. There's an enhanced feature called performance effects, and we can enable that by clicking on performance effects, and it will pop up a warning regarding photosensitivity, because this is high octane effects based around strobing. So we can enable that, and we can now go to our performance effects. Now a performance effect is a trigger once. You trigger it, it runs, it stops, and then it goes back to whatever it was doing before. These are fantastic if you're playing some music where there's a crescendo coming and you want a bit of a high energy build up. So you could do a quick left to right. That runs for 5 seconds and then goes back. You've then got mirror hits. And then after 10 seconds it then goes back to whatever it was doing before. So these are great for creating a quick burst of ambience. So that's how you'd use live mode and how you would set up for a DJ style setup. So the next stage I want to show you is for Christmas lights. So I'm going to go File, we're going to open up a stage, Christmas lights, and we have our stage. On here you can see that we have various groups of snowflakes, stars, we even have a mega tree. Very similar principle as before. We create scenes and we can then preview those scenes. Now I mentioned earlier that in the fixture creator I needed to come back to that to show you something. So when you set up a stage, let's go to edit stage, you can set up a stage background image. Now what this does, you load your background image so you can fade it down, you draw a stage area. So we've drawn an area where we're actually going to be placing our fixtures, and then we draw a measurement line. So that's what that yellow line is there. So you go outside if it's your house, or whether it's your DJ setup or something, where you measure something in the photograph so you actually have a real world measurement of it. You then draw a line point to point and then you tell it it's that measurement. This then calibrates your stage area, the photograph and your fixtures all together. We can build the stage, we've got our validation, we can now go back to create, and in here, because we've now calibrated a stage background, we can draw strings on our stage. So we can do point to point, rectangles, circles. So point to point we might want to go underneath the eaves. We tell it how many pixels there are, clear that. We can draw a rectangle round a window, again how many pixels there are. These then become a special fixture profile, because when they're on the stage you can't move them around. They are in a fixed position because they are locked to your calibrated screen. So if we now go to scenes, and I'm going to just preview, you can see that we have strings that go around the eaves, strings that go around the window, and as I say, these are a special fixture type. We can now go back to our playback and we can play them, or we can autoplay them. Performance effects you wouldn't use in the scenario of a Christmas light setup because they are a trigger once. So unless you're going to sit there pushing buttons for your Christmas show, they don't get used. So that is a brief overview of where we're at. It's going into first stage beta testing, and I hope to be releasing it in the next couple of months. Thanks for watching.